This is a Merrick Studios podcast. This week on Unglossy.
I have people that have been following my career now for 25 years. And while I was doing the work with ESPN and like those larger operations, you serve ESPN's audience when you work at ESPN, right? Like that's what they pay for you to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. I am been locking in the last 3 years to do the best I could to super serve the audience that comes with me.
From the top.
Go ahead.
I'm Tom Frank.
I'm Jeffrey Sledge.
And I'm Bug B. Welcome to Unglossy.
Real stories, unfiltered dialogue, and the voices moving culture beyond the gloss of hype and headlines.
So buckle up, Unglossy starts now.
All right, fellas, we are back for another Unglossy. I haven't seen you guys since the Mark Elias episode.
Yeah.
First, he is still raising money on WeFunder. So if anybody was interested in that and saw that episode, it's wefunder.com/we-could-be-heroes film. And I had an interesting thing pop in my head, Bun.
Go for it.
I got a little advance notice of the script. And there's a scene in there where I won't say much. There's a gentleman sitting in a car eating a burger.
That's a lot of synergy.
Do we have that burger be a Trill burger?
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm willing to be that guy eating the burger.
And you know what? I was going to ask you guys about the NFL playoff or the NBA playoffs, the NFL draft, and I was going to have a little discussion with you with that. But what are we doing? We got a guest on today that we got to hold all that stuff because his opinion, we got to hear all that he's got to say about
all that down.
Yeah, it's not us talking. We got to get this guy involved.
Yeah.
But, you got a broad range of opinions coming from this person in particular.
Yeah.
Like, he can stretch the spectrum if we need to go there. Like, if we need to get outside of sports and go in some other places, I think it's safe in his hand. We can have those conversations.
We're going to go a lot of places.
We got a broad range on everything. Music, film, sports,
It's going to be fun. Well, folks, we got a great one here. We got Bomani Jones, who's one of the most important voices in sports media, not because he talks about sports, as you guys just said, but because he explains what sports actually reveals. And from ESPN to HBO's Game Theory to Building the Right Time into one of the most respected independent platforms out there, he's carved out a lane where insight, culture, and honesty all collide. And he's done it in his way. Bomani Jones, welcome to Unglossy.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. What's going on?
Thank you for coming, man. Thank you for coming. This is going to be great.
We got an interesting time right now, though, right? I mean, this is the heyday of sports right here. We're overlapping everything right now. We have the NBA playoffs going on. We got the NFL draft going on. We got baseball kicking up. Like, what do you think about this moment right now? Because it's really a lot about business right now, too, especially with the draft and the playoffs.
So for me, this is the best time of year every year. Like the NBA playoffs is just about every night. Like you got something for me, but it's also the point where I start sounding softer than I ever do because I start complaining about like having to stay up late every night. But I'm at that age where I can't sleep late in the morning. So if the game got me up at 1, I'm still gonna be up by 6:30, no matter what, man. Like this is not easy. Like the games ain't even on that late. You must be 25, right? they are on that late. But I love it, right? Like this is it's all coming in at that time. So you go from NCAA tournament to the Masters into the NBA playoffs, and we get about 2 months going of that. The NFL draft, you get that one also. It kind of drops in. It's just wild to me that people go watch that in person, but that's a different discussion for a different day. And so, for me, this is my favorite time. Like, I feel like at the end of the NBA playoffs, at least in the way my life goes, that's when summer begins. But for right now, like now we kick this into overdrive.
We're not going to act like hockey is happening right now.
But you know what, though?
And baseball.
Okay, so baseball, we'll get to you in a minute, right? Like you guys are getting started. Let me let you,
we got time.
It's like the first pancake, right? Like the first pancake ain't never hitting like the rest of them are. Go ahead and get the first pancake taken care of. Hockey, whenever I do get over there, this is a great time. Like if hockey is your thing, playoff hockey is really, really dope. But the day only got 24 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I give you that. I just didn't want to act like it wasn't around.
That's nice of you, because I do.
Now, wait a minute. Now, I got to ask you this question, because this gets into business a little bit. So the one thing that kind of irritates me right now about the NBA, but I want to hear your opinion on this, is I sat down to watch the Knicks game last night. And I'm sorry, Jeff. But
Still mad.
immediately,
Still
This
mad.
is real. This is real early.
this is real early. But immediately I have to go watch it on Prime. Like, how do we feel about this now? Like, I like being able to just jump around on my YouTube TV, and now I got to run over to Prime for this game. Not all the games are on Prime. Some are on Prime. Some are not on Prime.
Yeah.
ESPN. What do we think about this?
I would make the argument that saying that the problem is that you have to switch from one app to another app is that's the real first world type of situation, right? The thing that's always difficult for me though about the streaming stuff is I have a lot of these apps that I don't necessarily use because of the line of work that I'm in. I don't have a great handle on how many of these apps people have and what their wherewithal is to get them. Or like Amazon Prime, for example. Prime Video comes with Amazon Prime. Everybody I know has Amazon Prime, but that's within a certain class dynamic. So to me, if there's one that you're going to put the stuff on, it would be the Amazon one because I feel like it's got the broadest reach. The problem that Amazon had for years with Prime Video was literally that people didn't know that they had it. Like it's this product that comes with this other service that you use, and people had no idea that it was even there. But
That's a great point.
Yeah, so I think that going to the apps, I think especially for a lot of younger people, that's where they live, that's where they traffic. They don't exist in the television space. I think it'll ultimately wind up being helpful for them, and I think they've done a very good job with the broadcast. But I get where the commissioner's coming from. He's like, the future of this is going to be streaming, so we're going to go to where those places are. But it helps that NBC, for example, still has a channel because I'm not paying for Peacock, man. I can't pay for all these fucking apps. So NBC's playing games, thank goodness, because if you put them on Peacock, I'm not going to see it. I was a guest star on the Best Man series that they just did a couple years ago. I ain't never seen the episode, not one time, because I'm not paying for Peacock.
Yeah, it was all right. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
But this is my
I
problem.
wrote my own lines, by the way.
This is my problem with the app situation, having to jump from one to one, because I'm willing to pay what it costs for NFL Sunday Ticket, right?
Yes,
that's true.
I just wish I got more football with NFL Sunday Ticket. Because now those games are leaving. Some of those games I can't watch.
Right.
And NFL Sunday Ticket is only working for me 5 months out of the year. So I feel like I'm paying a year-long subscription for 5 months of football that now is even more so being sparsed out to everybody else that wants to drop a couple of more billies in somebody's pocket to sell them a Thursday night or a Tuesday night football game. Like that's my problem with the apps. I'm never really getting what I need out of them because I'm not getting as much content as I would want from them.
Yeah, because there's only 24 hours in a day, right? Like that's the other part that comes from it is you want me to get all these things to just pick up on the one thing, right? I do think that part of what happens with the streaming universe, and it's kind of our mentality and the way we think about getting things from like the larger internet. And Bud, I know you have to feel this as a musician. The early days of the internet led us all to believe that we're supposed to have access to everything and for free. Right? Like it's taken a long time to condition people into the idea of paying for things on the internet. So the truth is, if like with the NBA, I said this early in the year and people accuse me of being out of touch with the common man, but the bottom line is we have access to more basketball than we ever did. Like, and they're like, if you want to watch every game, it costs all this money. But the ability to watch every game, do you really need that, right? Like maybe the game is you got to pick and choose and decide here and there which one of them it is that you're going to watch. But we have grown accustomed to the idea of having access to everything that we feel like it's such a great imposition when they throw another level of the stuff in. Now, where I think, like, especially with football, where they're messing up is, like, you're going to start playing games on Christmas if it's a Wednesday, and you're going to start throwing these games all over the week just because somebody else will give you some money, man. Like, we play dominoes, man. All money ain't good money. Yeah. And they can't figure out how to pass up the money because the valuations of the franchises have gotten so big. So where back in the day, like, what was my man's name? Charlie Thomas used to own the Rockets. He was a car dealer. Ain't no car dealer buying no teams no more, man. Right? You're not going to make enough money to buy a team selling cars. LeBron has his dream of buying a team. He does not have buy a team money, right? Like you need $4 or $5 billion to buy a team.
Only one guy with a car lot could buy a team, and that's Elon.
That's it. And he got to have the whole factory in order to get this done, right?
Exactly.
Like so that's, that's kind of where we are, where these cats, they're not just buying teams to have fun. Like it sounds like a cool thing to do. If you're a rich person, you own a team. They expect to make big money back off of that team. And so they gonna hit our pockets so many times. And what we're talking about is examples of how they go about doing it.
Is there much difference between that and sneaker resale? Because I feel like that's what's happening with the sneaker game.
No,
right
they
now.
made this. So
like I'm buying the shoe, but I don't even want to wear the shoe. I just want to hold on to the shoe and flip the shoe.
Yes.
Sneakers kind of cooked though now. It's kind of nasty out there for them.
Man, what they did was they made all of us into businessmen, right? like everybody, well, I myself am a business. That's not a lot of fun when it really comes down to it. But everybody looks at it that way. When my lot in life changed a little bit, I don't have very expensive taste. So shoes is where I spent all the money, right?
Okay.
Like I had a gazillion pairs of shoes, but I live in New York. I didn't have enough space. I donated probably 150 pairs of shoes or something like that, right? Like it was just like, because I was just buying, hey, new shoe comes up, I was just buying it. I donated. There's some old folks in Queens that got to be looking. They got big enough feet. They got to be looking great. Yeah, brand new, like stuff that hadn't even come out the box, right? Like I was just going back with it. But also it becomes so difficult just to get shoes, right? Like just to actually purchase them. And the shoe companies messed up, Nike in particular, because they got greedy and they were like, well, how about we just stop putting this stuff in stores and we just put everything on the app, and then the app got corrupted by all the bots and everything else. And now Nike, which felt before like McDonald's or something that would just be forever, now they struggling, but it's important because they helped create a culture where people were buying your shoes just to sell them. Because you limited the supply and people couldn't get their hands on them. And so all this stuff, right? Like we're in a very late stage of capitalism where it's gotten so greedy and so craven that we like all the stuff we actually like, we kind of messing up.
Yeah.
Well,
I like what they're doing with Nigel Sylvester. I like how they're doing his stuff, but that's one in a million. Like he's slaying this stuff out nice, but like you said, a lot of stuff has just gotten just too hard to get and played out, and cats is just buying to resell. Like with Live Nation, with tickets for shows, same thing. You buying them just to sell them for double the price. Nobody's really trying to go to the show. You're just trying to G off on the show.
Man, let me tell you this, but look, I still pay money. I still pay money for concert tickets, right? Like I don't live the life where I can just assume that I'm getting into concerts. I got a feeling that we got somebody here who don't know what concert tickets cost, right? It's kind of like I was smoking once with some cute girl, and somebody was like, "You think she got any weed?" I was like, "No, she doesn't have any weed. She don't even know how much weed costs. She just knows that when she show up, weed be coming, right?"
Yeah.
Man, the last 5 years, I have gone from third row seats to now I am back as in touch with the people as I have ever been because I'm not paying those prices.
They're crazy.
Right? I went to see Kendrick Lamar at MetLife. I was definitely among the folks at that concert. I'm like, I can't. I had a good run where I was like, I had all these great seats. It costs too much money. I refuse to do it. I refuse to call Ubers anymore because it costs too much money.
Dude.
Thursday, I take the train to JFK now because I'm not paying $200 to go to the airport.
That's actually easier to take the train to JFK. It's actually easier and quicker.
It's a hump, but it ain't $200. It's $11.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but they got us. They can put that price whatever they want every time.
They do. And they can change it.
What if it's not sneakers, then what are you spending your money on now?
Well, one thing I
it's
bought
not
this
sneakers
house.
In concerts,
I bought a house in New York. That'll do part one, but part two is I am now fully immersed in as awesome travel as I can possibly do. Like I have realized that you can do a pretty cool trip, but if you put in a little more work and maybe a little more money, you can do something awesome. Right. So I don't know. Y'all hip to Iguazu Falls?
Nah.
Iguazu Falls is the world's largest waterfall system. So it's on the Brazil-Argentina border, the same way that Niagara Falls is on the U.S.-Canada border. I just got back from there a couple of weeks ago. And I don't know if you've been to Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls is amazing, right? Niagara Falls is like, imagine if you had never seen anybody play basketball and you saw Clyde Drexler play basketball, right? Clyde Drexler can dunk on an 11-foot goal. He can only dribble with his right hand, but you can't stop him from going right. It don't really matter, right? Like Clyde Drexler was amazing. I just went and saw LeBron and Jordan playing together on the same team.
Wow, it's like
at Iguazu Falls. Yeah. It was just like when you walk up on it, and my pictures from the first day were terrible. Because it's like, imagine if you thought it was just the first game of the season and it turned out it was the Super Bowl. Like, you walk up on it and it was completely overwhelming. Like, my life felt like it was changing just by being in the presence of this waterfall, right?
Wow.
That's the kind of thing that I'm going for now, right? Like, if I go to a place, I'll go to a cool city. I might go to a cool little beach, but I'm looking for something where you just look at it and your jaw drops and you just it completely makes you reevaluate your place in the world. Like, I read this book about awe, the AWE, and it says something about the things that inspire awe, the things that put you in touch with your relative place in the universe, things that remind you that you are small in the presence of the universe. Like, I'm not a religious person, but it's the same idea really about, with God and everything else, that there's something much larger than you. And so, like, when I go to mountains and stuff, I'm like, oh, we're talking about the same thing, just using different language, right? Like, we're putting ourselves in that same place of humility. That waterfall had me like, we are the smallest things in the world.
Wow.
Like, it was just, it's that kind of thing that I'm really into now when it's time for me to go somewhere.
Dope.
This is why I've been doing Gumball for so long, because that's pretty much all it is. Like, it's a concerted effort for us to take these beautiful cars to some of the most far off and engaging places around the world, for you to see things that you would never plan on seeing up close. You know what I'm saying? Here's a funny thing. Here's a funny thing. I don't know if many people know. On the way to Glastonbury, you have to pass Stonehenge.
Yeah.
And I'm with Dizzy Rascal. He's performing at Glastonbury between he's playing between Spinal Tap and Bruce Springsteen.
Are you serious?
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah, like, I met Bruce Springsteen backstage during Glastonbury, but that's a whole other thing. But then we're driving, and I look over, and I'm like, damn, that looked like Stonehenge. Oh yeah, that's it. That's it. Excuse me? Could you pull this motherfucker over for a minute, please? Because it's
we just
not
gonna
like
drive past.
Right, because they probably been going to Glastonbury for years, right?
Right.
So that's just what that is.
Did you stop?
Yeah, hell yeah, I stopped.
Okay.
It's fucking Stonehenge. Like, you don't get to pass by one of these things that have been somewhere, like the talk of how did these rockets get here? They're not from here. None of that shit. I only saw Stonehenge maybe in an encyclopedia. I don't even think I watched PBS enough to see Stonehenge on TV. But I'm aware of what Stonehenge was, and it's unmistakable, even seeing it from a distance on the highway doing like 75, 80 down the road. But yeah, no, that's the type of shit that you don't even know, like, and then it starts that, how did they get here, and the whole type of thing.
Right.
And then you're like, yeah, no, this shit, we don't really appreciate. And look, I live in Texas, right? I live on I-10. It's probably the worst highway in America, because it offers you a view of nothing.
Not nothing at all.
You can ride it from beginning to end. You can ride it from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic, and you are at sea level the entire time. It's only until you get to, like, I don't even think Utah on 10 is. No.
Once you get to Phoenix, you got a
shit.
chance. Once you get to Phoenix, you got a little bit of like Phoenix, and once you get to LA, now you like seeing something. Brother,
Right.
I was once driving from Atlanta to Baton Rouge for Southern's homecoming. Was actually going to see y'all, but something happened and my car broke down along the way. And I had a partner of mine in the car. He was from New Jersey. And we was in one of those stretches between Mobile and Baton Rouge on I-10. And he just looked out and said, this is the biggest nothing I have ever seen in my life. And I had no answer for him.
Wow.
Well, can I tell you that you would have done all that for nothing, because they pulled us in the middle of the first song?
Are you serious?
Yeah. So Outkast went on before us.
So you
right?
remember this exactly?
I remember this. Like, you don't do Southern Homecoming all the time, right?
Oh, okay.
You have to be you don't do college homecomings all of the time.
Yeah,
You got to be a particular kind of cool with a particular kind of hot song to do a college university. It's like homecoming. Like, you got to be that dude with that song right then. So it's like Outkast is on before us, and then they come down. Andre's doing the whole thing with a pack of incense in his back pocket. I'll never forget that. And so they give us the mics. And as we're getting ready to go on, it's like, well, don't forget, don't curse.
Oh.
And it's the first we had heard of any of that. And Chad was like, shit, I ain't even read the clean version. And so it's Pimp C, bitch. So what the? And
they
then
just cut you?
Then nothing, right? And then get out of here.
What's funny is my uncle, God rest his soul, it was probably his job to come holler at you and be like, hey.
Wait a minute
But
now.
at that point, we already paid, so I could care less anyway.
Oh, you didn't care.
No. They wasn't getting that back. They didn't get rid of me. But like Trick Daddy, like they kicked Trick Daddy off the stage. Them ski weed, that ski weed check been cleared. We ain't even worried about. I'm actually at this age, I'd rather go home now.
Exactly. I'm ready to go.
Get me back to my kitchen.
All right, we were talking about you driving by Stonehenge at 70 miles per hour. The one thing that we're all looking at for the last 20 minutes is an Emmy that's sitting behind this guy. That's my Stonehenge right now. Tell me what that is that you're putting back there.
Okay, so I will give you the long version of this story. In 2008, I started doing local radio in sports in Raleigh. I'd never done radio before, but the people thought that I might be pretty good at it. And I had a natural inclination for that. So I got in there and I was doing it, dog. And the thing is, that is not a space, generally speaking, where the people in charge put a lot of black people on. Let alone someone. I was 27 when I first started doing it, right? And I was very much 27, right? Like I had a broader sense of the world, but in terms of my sensibilities, they were getting a 27-year-old black dude at that point. And it was a real uphill fight for me to make it happen, but I did. And I remember in the spring of 2009, we got the ratings book back for spring of 2009 during that summer. And in that year, I had been doing the show. We were up 200% over spring of 2008, right? Damn. So I was like, time to ask for a raise. The day I come in to ask for a raise, they tell me that the radio station has been sold, and I read a press release that night that my time slot would be going to somebody else. Damn. Right? So I was like, oh, damn, what am I going to do? I got lucky. And a company out of Toronto called The Score picked me up to do a show on their satellite station. But I also decided to start writing a book. And I wanted to write a book that was similar to The Blind Side. And the book, The Blind Side, is much different than the movie. The movie obviously focuses on the story of Michael Oher. The book used Michael Oher to talk about the business of the NFL and specifically the left tackle position. And how left tackles had become so important and so valuable because quarterbacks had become so important and so valuable. And that was why Oher's story was so important, because look at what they'll do to go get a left tackle, right? We got, all those things. So I was like, I want to write a very similar book about wide receivers, but about Randy Moss. And so the way the book proposal that I was writing was structured was that you write a sample chapter. And so I had decided to write a sample chapter about Randy Moss from his high school days till he got drafted. So like him getting arrested in high school, him going to Florida State, all the changes and everything that went with it. And so it was from 1995 to 1998. That was the period of the proposal. I had it here. I still had it here. Like I have all my notes. I have all the stuff I've written. I got a big D-ring binder that has all the stuff, but I never did anything with it. I didn't feel confident enough to take it out to market. Honestly, I didn't have the confidence in myself as a writer to get it out there. But then fast forward, call it 3-4 years, somewhere there, I'm in Miami, and they introduced me to this guy named Connor Shell. Connor Shell now runs a company called Words and Pictures. He used to be the head of content at ESPN, but at the time, he was the guy that was over films and 30 for 30 for ESPN. I come to find out they're working on a 30 for 30 about Randy Moss that covers the time period 1995 to 1998.
Wow.
So they've already begun working on it, right? They're into it, but they're like, hey, we hear you got some expertise here. How about we bring you on as executive producer? We give you a check. I'm like, look, the check don't even really matter, right? Like I get to work on this. I get to learn how this game goes. So we had a young brother named Marquise Daisy. It was the first 30 for 30 directed by somebody in-house that worked at the company. And so I'm working with him. We're going through, we're getting the doc done, all of this stuff. And because I served as an executive producer on a 30 for 30, 30 for 30 got nominated for and ultimately won the Best Sports Documentary Series at the Sports Emmys. And so every executive producer got an Emmy from the 30 for 30 series. So that's Emmy. She right over here. And I always have her here because, like, I did something for her, but they would have got it without me. You know what I mean? That makes it even better. Like, it's not even blood, sweat, and tears. It's like I was just at work one day and they was like, here you go.
Handing them out like candy.
Right. Like, you know, it came in my house in the full box where you got to, like, undo it. It's got buckles and shit on it and you got to do all that. And I just sitting right over there, dog.
I love that. I don't know if I've ever seen a situation where it's an actual flex to have a participation trophy.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Let me tell you what's funny. Tony Kornheiser put his first Emmy in the guest bathroom at his house.
Wow.
That's good.
That's the most obnoxious thing I've ever heard anybody ever doing in life. When your guests come over to use the bathroom.
And they got to see Emmy up in there.
Ezra Edelman, who directed the
OJ joint.
The OJ joint and the Prince one that we'll never see.
Is that never coming out, bro?
Oh, no. It's never coming. It's never coming out. And I'm mad because he was letting people see it. And then by the time they hit him with that C and D, I never got to see it. But I went to his house one time. He's got so many Emmys that they're literally laying around his house. Like you go to the bathroom and you trip on something and it's just an Emmy laying on the floor.
Wow.
That's like visiting like Dallas Austin and people like that. And
exactly. Grammys everywhere.
Plaques and Grammys and all kinds of shit just all over
plaques in the garage. And
laid up on the floor, leaning against the wall.
Exactly. Hey, let me ask you a question, man. What do you think about LeBron, what he's doing right now in the playoffs?
Oh, this is absurd, right? Like I have my criticisms of him, and I have to be careful about this because I'm ready for the next generation to take over, right? Like I just think it's time for that. And so on one level, it's like these old cats, why are you still here? And the other level is the very obvious answer, because he can still do it. And it's him and just dudes with the Lakers right now, with Reeves and Doncic out of there. It is amazing that anybody could have a brain as powerful as his is, where he could just control all the action to this day at 41 years old at the high post, like it's the Y, right? Like he's the old dude that just knows how to get everybody the ball at every time. Like if they win this series without those other guys, it's as impressive as anything that he has ever done in the NBA, right? Like, yeah, there are championships, there's the 3-1 comeback and everything else. But I've literally never seen anybody do this before. I've never seen anybody do anything close to being like this. Like when Kareem was old, Kareem looked old. LeBron just looks older than he used to.
Yeah.
Bruh, I'm losing to LeBron and them.
It's a dog.
It's not looking good for you right now.
I'm losing to LeBron and them.
And them.
Yeah,
you know
literally. Why? Because at least and them is a team. The Rockets are Kevin and Reed and Jabari and Alpy, and it's a bunch of ands and ands and ands. Like them cats clearly do not hang out with each other.
But what happened to the Rockets?
This also shows how vulnerable the Rockets were at that position, because Fred, I'm just being honest about the things I saw. We were here a year ago, and Fred had to put this team on his back, right? But that's kind of what someone that wants to be a leader, right?
Yes.
That wants to be seen as a leader, as a floor general, which is the highest praise you can give to the point guard position, right? And then now you don't even have, I don't know what position they thought Reed Shepherd was supposed to play, which by the way, Reed Shepherd, I don't want him to go anywhere. I think that kid's going to turn out to be exactly what we wanted him to turn out to be. But what we didn't want him to turn out to be is someone that plays point guard from time to time.
Right. That's real.
Like, that's what we didn't want him to have to be. He don't even deserve to have that level of responsibility on his shoulders.
Yeah.
But what happened to the Rockets? Like, did you see this coming throughout the year, or is it just all of a sudden, boom, it's just happening right now?
Well, we didn't have a point guard, and then we didn't get Chris Paul. That was who I thought, at the very least, there's at least a relationship there, right? Like, go back and get somebody. We don't need a point guard to put up 25 points. I need a point guard that can give me 10 assists, 8 assists, right? And just doesn't turn the ball over. This team is really good when they play in a blacktop style of football. Like they play really good, and a lot of them can get some really good passes off. But that being said, I shouldn't be counting on Thompson to have to float one behind a no-look over the shoulders to Sengun to make the points. Like, we're overcompensating now, which never works in the playoffs.
Yeah,
like we're overcompensating at this point, trying to be something.
Yeah, I will make this point. I'm very careful in how I phrase this because of plausible deniability, but Get Off My Dickerson said that these guys just weren't that good as a team. The anonymous Twitter account, Get Off My Dickerson, did not believe that this team was good enough. And my understanding is that sources close to Get Off My Dickerson say that that's been the point that he's had the whole way. He just didn't think that they were that good.
Look, there's starting this team without a point guard, not acquiring a point guard at the trade deadline, and then finding yourself in the postseason, regardless of the position in the rank,
right?
You're still without a point guard. So as much as I love the Houston Rockets and as big of a fan I am, we all knew once we got to this point,
yes,
right, that we were really like we can all end up in the postseason. That's not, well, I ain't gonna say all of us, but like we never had any doubts that this team could make it into the postseason. But we also knew that we did not have what it's gonna take to like make it through the postseason. I don't think we went in being anybody's Western Conference champ winner or anything like that. Like we just knew at some point this experiment was gonna fall apart.
Yeah,
in real time.
We just didn't think it would be against the Lakers without their two leading scorers, right? Because the Lakers are a similar team where we know that there's a limited shelf life on how far that this could go. But it was like, okay, no Luka, no Reeves. All right, well, I think the Rockets got this one. Also, to be fair to them, Durant, I think, is much more hurt than I think we're giving credit for. Because that play where LeBron went by him and did that reverse dunk, Durant couldn't even move.
Yep.
Right. Like I think that he's a much tougher player than people give him credit for being. And I think that if this were regular season, I have no idea when he would play again. Like he's doing this because he's being stand up.
And we'll be right back.
I'm Bun B. I'm a host and a co-owner at Merrick Studios, and we just took things to the next level. Merrick Studios Plus is live. So tap in at wearemerrickstudios.com, get 65% off, and don't just listen. Be a part of the show.
And we'll be right back.
Master the art of lyricism with Pendulum Mink, the first school for rap. Learn elite techniques through immersive lessons, real-world exercises, and guidance from hip-hop icons. This is where MCs sharpen their skills and glow boldly on the mic. Ready to level up? Visit pendulummink.com and start your journey today.
And now, back to the show.
I always try to have high hopes going into this time of year. But you could watch literally in the game one shoot around. Like literally how gingerly he was. I was like, I don't know if he's going to be back for game two. And if he is, I don't know how healthy he's going to be if he does start in game two. Meanwhile, you have probably somebody in the top 100 physically fit people in the world that doesn't have to run 5 miles for resources in a third world country. Like just a person who naturally has taken it upon himself to eat exactly what motherfuckers tell him to eat. Right? He's been living like that since 19, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Sleeping in the chamber.
Yeah,
he probably get 3 sugar days a year. That type of right? Like that type, like it's insane.
What do you think about the Knicks,
health he's at his age, considering how much wear he's put on his body.
Yeah. You're right.
Like who's gotten fouled more than LeBron in
nobody.
The years that he's played?
Nobody.
Right? You know what I'm saying? So, look, man, I wouldn't want to see LeBron coming down the dark alley. And I know I could fight.
No, that's a really big dude. Like we talk about how big he is, but he's big like those people like Julius Peppers is like this. You meet him and it's not just how big he is, but it's also like how small he is at the same time. So like when Karl Malone was playing, Karl Malone was 270 pounds with like a 32 or 33 inch waist. Like that's me.
Yeah.
Like, how can you be that big and that small at the same time? That's LeBron. Like, he's giant, but none of it's wasted.
Yeah. Fat, you know? What do you think about the Knicks, Bo?
All right. So, like, after living here for all this time now,
I don't even like the way you started that sentence.
No.
I love the way you started that one.
It's gonna be positive. Like, so this the thing about New York, and I know that you are currently a New Yorker who doesn't live in New York, so I ain't talking about you when I say this, but y'all ordinarily don't send the best representatives of yourselves across the country, and that's why everybody else kind of don't like y'all, right? Like y'all get to where y'all going, y'all talk shit about wherever it is and everything else. Y'all call people country, all this stuff. But when you live here, you like the people a little bit more, right? Like y'all are much cooler in terms of living here. And that specifically applies to Knicks fans, because Knicks fans are loud and everything else across the country. Here, they would always stop me on the street and just be like, "Can you give me some good news, please?" Right? Like they had been humbled by the years and by the time, and they just wanted somebody to tell them it was going to be okay. And then the team got good. And I always want them to win because everybody's so much happier here when the Knicks win, right?
Mm-hmm.
This year for me has been fun because this is the first time that the Knicks have had legitimate expectations and reasons for people to think that they could go to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
And buddy, that has everybody on edge. That lemon booty had washed over them in game 3 so badly, and you could see the nerves at every turn. What's going with them? Because look, they fired the coach that got into the conference finals last year. That means your boss thinks that y'all are supposed to go to the NBA finals. Right? And you probably can, but it looks a little dicey right now. To me, their biggest problem is there's nobody in this series who can guard Karl Towns, except one guy always does, and that is number 32 for the New York Knicks. He is his own problem. And if he were not his own problem, there would be nothing anybody could do with y'all. Instead, you're asking for somebody 6'2" to carry your whole team, and that's just not fair. That's just
real.
not it.
That's real. That's real. That's very real. I can't dispute anything you said.
Yeah.
I be feeling like sometimes like Carl more focused on the wedding this summer with Jordan the playoffs. I'm like, bro, like lock in, man.
I could, but I won't.
So who's going to come out of the?
But I won't.
Who's going to come out of the East? Who's going to come out of the West? It's not going to be the Rockets.
I think Boston is going to come out of the East now that apparently Jason Tatum had the most effective Achilles surgery in the history of Achilles surgeries. I can't believe, like, this is not, you know, I don't know what exactly to say except for the fact that I can't believe that he looks this good having come back. And if he's looking that good, then I think that they win the East. The West is tricky. I thought that it would be Denver. That does not look like it is going to happen, unfortunately. I love those guys, but it does not look like that's going to happen. San Antonio, I'm assuming that Victor is going to come back from that concussion, and that's the thing to talk about. Like
that was ugly. That was
ugly.
It was ugly, but I'm going to be honest with you, man. Ain't nobody safer from a second concussion than that. What's going to hit him in the head? The only thing that can hit him in the head is the rim. Unless he gonna fall on his face like he did last time, only the rim and the backboard can hit him in the head. You can drive his ass back out there the next day. Ain't no risk. But the actual factual champions are back, right? Like they're
gonna be tough to beat.
They are, and they figured out, man, the refs aren't gonna call every foul unless they have the ball, and then the refs do call every foul.
I want to ask you about that. What do you think about the fouls that they be getting away with? And I like OKC. I fucks them heavy, but like sometimes I'm like, bruh, come on.
Man, you know, it's overall tough for me because my mama's from Oklahoma City. So, like, you just can't understand what a big deal it is for them to have a basketball team.
They ain't got to have anything. They ain't got nothing.
Right? They got Oklahoma football, right?
They got Sooners and this. That's
right.
It.
They are so excited about having this team. And for that reason, I would like for them to do well. And I really like Sam Presti, their general manager. And as a person, I really like him. In fact, I'll take a pause to tell this story because I think it's worth telling. My mother is a bit of a civil rights hero in Oklahoma City. When she was a teenager, she was the leader of the sit-in movements that integrated the city. If you remember from the Kanye joints at the 10 to age, talking about his mom at the 10 to age 6, she was involved in the sit-ins. Those are the sit-ins. Like my mother knew.
So your mother
Donda
knew with Donda.
Yeah. My mother says Donda is the first child she remembers being born. You know, and so like they gave my mom an honorary degree at OU like last year and all of this stuff. So like she matters there, and they just built a monument to the civil rights movement in downtown Oklahoma City. So the statues of all the sit-inners, like I think Donda has one. My mother's sister, a few other people.
Wow.
And so I had gotten in touch with the mayor of Oklahoma City on Twitter because I wanted to give him some money. And he says to me, well, you know, you should probably talk to somebody about this. You probably know him. It's Sam Presti. I was like, cool, let's talk to Sam. So I talked to Sam. And Sam tells me that they went to the museum in Memphis for the civil rights movement. And he saw something about the Oklahoma City sit-ins in the museum. And he said, well, why am I learning about this in Memphis and not in Oklahoma City? And then from there, the process started to the construction of that monument.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So, yeah, I would like to see Sam win all the things.
Gotcha.
Right? I would love it. But I would like to see them boys stop fouling all the time. Like, they the least cool champions that there have ever been, because they got a bunch of dudes that are cool to hang out with each other in Oklahoma City and play video games. Right? Like, it's beautiful. They seem to enjoy themselves so much. But
who else they gonna enjoy? I remember when this happened before. I was there around there for the Harden, Perkins, KD, and Russ years, and man, it's nothing there. I mean, they had to. Kevin had to open a restaurant so they could have a restaurant to go to. Like, man, it's wild, bro.
I used to be like kind of like low key addicted to Altoids, and so I went to my aunt's funeral.
How did that happen?
Hey, man, just sometimes you like a strong mint, right? And so I'm in Oklahoma City. I need some Altoids. We were there for my aunt's funeral. I couldn't find a single grocery store that had any Altoids to sell me. I could find some Now and Laters though, but I couldn't find no Altoids on the east side of Oklahoma City. Not a single tin. Not in any, I couldn't find any place that could even dream of having these things. And if you can't get no Altoids, man, imagine what else you're looking for that ain't around.
That ain't around. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Another question I got for you on Sports Question. What do you think about ABS with this baseball thing?
That's the umpires?
Yes.
I'm not really a big fan of anything that is minimizing humans. Right? Just generally speaking. Like, I was just watching today, it was this clip of Kevin Garnett on his pod, and he was talking about how the refs used to go back and forth with the players. Like, you'd see Charles Barkley cussing at the refs, but the refs would be cussing at him right back. Right? Like, he's talking about a ref once told Allen Iverson, I'll beat your little ass. Right? And I'm like, oh, wow. I did not realize that it was levels of this. But the truth is, the referees and umpires are part of the experience. Right? And so to me, the question that you ask, I feel the same way about instant replay, because I hate the way that it slows down games. And people's argument is the only thing that matters is that we get the calls right. And that is not true. There is a flow of the game that matters. There are all kinds of other things that go into it, and getting the precise optimal answer is not always just in getting the call right. So to me, it's cool, the idea that we'll have this standard for what there is not a strike, but there's also a charm to the fact sometimes we got a high strike tonight. We got a low strike tonight. Maybe it's not going to be those things, but having people involved, I think, are part of the theater of sports. And we have allowed the nerds and the number people to get involved a little bit too much to try to make everything into an equation that you can optimize. That I see the benefit, obviously, in having it where you can say, hey, that wasn't really a strike. But, hey, man, sometimes in life, the ref missed the call. This is a metaphor of sorts, I think. And so for me, I'd rather just have people do all the stuff and we get what comes with the people than the marginal benefits. Because these guys are really good at their jobs. I think that's the other part, too, that we underestimate is how good officials really are at doing their jobs. And so this marginal improvement, I personally think takes away from like the human element of this. Like, we are complicit in our own destruction. Like, we given the machines the keys to take us out. You know what I mean?
It's also what makes it different for me than some of those other things is it kind of really shows up the ump right there. Because the minute that ball goes by, you're hitting your head, and it's an immediate, like, I don't know. There's something about it that it doesn't feel the same as some of the other instant replays to me. It feels like you're showing that guy up. Constantly.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I feel like if you're going to show up an umpire, do it the old-fashioned way. Climb up the steps, get up in his face, and y'all holler at each other.
Yeah. I will say this about baseball, and I feel like baseball is the only sport that even really feels like this to me. I feel like at every single baseball game I go to, there's going to be 3 calls that go right for us and 3 calls that's going to go bad for us.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's really just about how much we get out of that, right? Like, it's really about the timing about it. But I always feel like, that wasn't a strike. Okay, I get it. Yeah, no, that wasn't a strike. You know what I'm saying? So when people complain about things that you kind of snuck through there, kind of like try to keep it low. But yeah, in baseball, literally in every game, you're going to get 3. The ref's going to get it right 3 times. And he's going to get it wrong 3 times for your team. And it's really
We're also talking to the guy from Houston, though, that you're banging the drums there and giving away the strike calls and all that. So we gotta
and your team had something up on this Jersey, he won.
There we go.
Yeah, we
Here
got
we
the
go.
Jersey, the drums, we got it all in.
Yeah, I'm not
even
going
on.
I could go in a lot of directions and back this man up. I would let him take the lead, and I would swing. I would come up second. I'm on the mound. So if you wanna go ahead, Bomani, I'm on deck.
No, I'm setting you up because I just want to say. So I was born in Atlanta, and we moved to Houston when I was 7 years old. So I already had teams by the time we got there. So I grew up a big Braves fan, for example, right? But the Houston pride in me pops up so much when people do stuff like that about that World Series. I don't know why, right? Like, it's when people try to push back against that World Series, all the pride that is in me steps up and says, y'all are just haters. Especially, I'm assuming it's a Yankees fan up there doing this hating about what went down there.
It is. Y'all been feeling a certain way about your own team since Jeter left. So you bring all these insecurities up against a team that never could get all the way there, and they got there past you a couple of times. You know what I'm saying? And so now you want to hate out Two-Face. Mighty Mouse ain't done nothing to nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he just ain't want to take off his shirt.
But you gotta understand that you can't say nothing about the second chip, and that door still goes through. We still go through New York, either way.
Right.
So
shout out to Dusty Baker.
You guys feel bad about yourselves, about the fact that Jeter's gone. You don't look like or feel like the Yankees anymore, and you still haven't gotten everything you're trying to get out of Judge. You ain't gonna win with just Judge. I'm sorry.
I'm about to.
He ain't big for nothing. That's about the worst thing I can say about him. I could say he was big for nothing, but he can lay some wood. I will give him credit as a baseball player.
So this is one of the first episodes I can honestly say. Bomani, I have a run of show every episode.
Mm-hmm.
We got off track on this one before I even got to point 1, and we're now at like point 24, 25 now. I do need to ask you this, though. Tell us what you're up to now. I want to know. I want to know exactly what you're doing right now.
What I am doing now, I have a podcast called The Right Time with Bomani Jones. 4 times a week. Get that where all podcasts are available for free. That is really my big thing, man. I did a TV show for HBO called Game Theory for a couple of seasons. That was literally the thing I always wanted, right? I got it. I did it for 2 seasons. I had a great time doing it. The network was happy with it. I got to work with people that I loved. I got to meet people that I came to love through doing the show. And then after it was done, I kind of realized that I had really been going like really hard for years and years and years, but I always had like a zillion different jobs. And so, I was like, okay, well, we'll just go to doing this podcast, right? That would be the thing that I was doing. And, I had reached a point in my career where I could live in the way that I wanted to off of that podcast and kind of recharge. But what I realized after that was I had always treated that podcast kind of like a side job because it was always, it was structured to work around whatever TV show it was I was doing or, all these different things. And so for the last about year or so, I've leaned in a bit more in terms of like the way that I view doing that show rather than just something to do. It's something for me to plan for a little bit more. So that's why we went to 4 days a week. We came up with new features. We kind of tried to reinvent that on the fly. And so I've really leaned into doing that while also I just finished writing an article. I think it's going to publish on the internet like the week this comes out. It'll be in the magazine next month. But I did a feature on Trinidad Chambliss, the quarterback of Ole Miss, for Vanity Fair magazine. I'm working now. I want to try to start doing a newsletter that is going to be part sports, but also a lot of travel stuff. Because I got to get my writing muscles back up. I started in this as a writer, and quite honestly, TV was easy and paid more. And so I did a lot less writing. And now I need to get those muscles up because I need to get a book going. I got an idea of what it is that I want to do. And I got to think it out a little bit more. But for right now, it's just I want to make this podcast and serve. I have people that have been following my career now for 25 years. And while I was doing the work with ESPN and like those larger operations, you serve ESPN's audience when you work at ESPN, right? Like that's what they pay for you to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. I am been locking in the last 3 years to do the best I could to super serve the audience that comes with me, the ones that go with me from satellite to local radio to satellite radio to ESPN to HBO to all those places. Those are the people that I want to serve, right? Like I think about, and it makes me think a lot about like the rappers and people that I grew up listening to and things like that. There's the ones that you can try to sell 10 million copies, but there's something to be said for you know who your room is, you know who your people are, and to super serve them and let them spread the message of your work and bring other people in rather than trying to like grab at these people that maybe they rock with you, maybe they don't. Like Chuck D said something early in the days of social media where he said, if your Facebook fan page has 10 fans, you need to serve those 10 fans and let those 10 fans turn to 12, you know, and let that 12 turn to 15 and go that way. So that's really what I'm doing now is I'm locking in on the things that the people that have been there for me, and then just trying to explore and talk about sports and the things that I talk about now from a perspective of what we love and enjoy rather than the things like the internet is fueled by confrontation. And look, I'm really good at confrontation. I'm as good at I'm as good at internet confrontation as anybody has ever been at internet confrontation. I'm 45 years old. I don't want to be in confrontation. I want to talk about the things that make me feel good and the things that like make other people feel good. Yeah. So that's where I am with all of this.
Got you. So what I was gonna, I didn't want to take us too far off track, but I have to mention your Prince take. What week or so ago, you said he was the most influential artist or something?
So this is what I was saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I need people to understand this. I have no problem admitting this part. I'm a Prince guy, right? Like you have the Prince Michael Jackson, like you got to pick one. I'm Prince all day long, right? Okay. I admit that. The point that I was making about the influence of Prince versus the influence of Michael Jackson, I think that if you were talking about the notion of a pop star, Michael Jackson kind of charted the path of what happens from the 80s on, right? Like groups start to gradually go away at that point. Like when you get to the eras of the Justin Timberlakes, the Ushers, the Chris Browns, so forth and so on, right? Like these are the children of Michael Jackson. Not to say that they are the same level of Michael Jackson, but the idea that one man could be such a spectacle, like even MC Hammer is descendant from the Michael Jackson tree. You know, MC Hammer was so good at dancing that people paid to listen to him rap. You know what I mean? Like just think about this. This motherfucker is standing next to his car dancing and people are buying tapes.
Real shit.
That doesn't make any sense unless you're just the coldest dude, right? But it goes that way. But if you listen to the progression of R&B music from the late 80s into the 90s, as it kind of took on this edge and this whole different sort of blatant, brazen sexuality, that is the influence of Prince, right? Like, Jodeci is much more influenced by Prince than influenced by Michael Jackson. Drew Hill, like all those acts, that is the Prince influence that you hear, right? And so it's not even about the style of music necessarily or the sound of the music, but the ethos and where, for better or worse, by the way, because it got a little bit out of hand. I think that we could all acknowledge that. But even Janet Jackson, the Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, obviously, straight line from Prince. The Janet Jackson stuff, that does not sound like her brother's stuff. Now, her daddy, who was like, don't be making my baby girls, sound like Prince. But they did. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like they like Velvet Rope. That's a Prince conceptual type of thing. So that's my thing with Prince there is that I think the influence with him, Prince like D'Angelo, the thing that I loved about talking about D'Angelo after he died was he was really influential to really cool people, right? Like cool people thought D'Angelo was super dope. Prince has that element. Michael Jackson has that I make people pass out in Romania element, right? Which is huge, but it's not the same thing.
Got you.
I would also
favorite
argue,
Prince album.
Favorite Prince album is Purple Rain. And I want to just take a moment to say something about this. Prince fans love to act like Purple Rain ain't Purple Rain, right? Like it makes people feel cooler to act like, like, hey man, Parade is the best Prince album.
It's Purple Rain.
Fuck out of here. No, it's Purple Rain. Purple Rain, Sign of the Times, 1999, Dirty Mind, and then we can talk about the rest.
Okay. All right.
I would argue that Prince is also responsible for like this idea of black rock, right? Like black rock, right? Like being able to perform rock music without having to compromise any certain level of blackness. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like the Living Colors, the Fishbones, guys like that too. You know what I'm saying? Because not so much the punk rock side of it, right? But I do think the idea of black man as rock star because we talk about the Prince music and the sexuality, but Prince is also one of the coldest motherfuckers that ever played the guitar, too. Like, motherfuckers that are cold at, all the motherfuckers that were cold at guitar came together to celebrate a motherfucker that was with the god of guitar. And Eric Clapton and everybody got out of the way, and they let Prince do the solo.
Man, there is a show that they ran it live in '85. It was live from Syracuse. They ran it on TV live in Europe, right? The estate remastered it 5 or 6 years ago and put it back out. They put it back. You can get on the streaming services or whatever. I tell people to watch that in 2 hours. It's like watching Jordan in '92, right? Like watching LeBron in 2012. It's somebody at the absolute peak of his powers. And they do a 20-minute Purple Rain at the end of that. That is like a tear-inducing situation because he could just do things that nobody else could do. And when people talk about that, like Prince could hoop thing, in that concert, there's a point where he makes some transition where he's way off on the side of the stage, somewhere elevated, but he got to get back to the mic or the piano because it's time to do Me Baby, right? This motherfucker in those heels jumps off of a platform that had to be 7-8 feet off the ground and lands on his feet and then strolls to the microphone in high heels.
I know what you mean when you say he strolled.
Yeah,
that walk.
Picture that,
right?
With his chin up like a motherfucker.
Yeah, and it's like in the dark, right? So like nobody's actually supposed to see it. So he was just like, hell yeah, I just did that. You know what I mean? Like he's that dude. I say the thing about Black Rock is interesting because I do think as like post Jimi Hendrix, like as the rock star, it's him. Today I was on the train and I was listening to his first album for some reason, and it's like, oh, the Funkadelic is so clear in the music that he put out very, very early. Like we forget, George had something really going with Funkadelic in terms of like, this is a flat out rock band. Man, them boys was going.
They could play. They could play.
Yeah.
So to bring it all the way back around, where are we traveling to next?
I am going to the Dolomites next.
Where's that?
The Dolomites are in northern Italy. It's the mountain range where they did the Winter Olympics this year. So like you fly into Milan and then you drive 4 hours. And I've never seen mountains that look like it, but it's so funny because I looked on ChatGPT and I was like, so what do you do when you go to the Dolomites? You hike and you hang out at the spa. So that's what I'm going to get up in the morning and go hike. And they say you go hike and then you'll pull up on what they call these huts and people are just making food. And so you go hike, you pull up, you get lunch, maybe get some coffee, whatever it is, hike a little bit more, come back down, post up at the spa, go find a cool little place for sunset, and just kind of chill out for the week.
When you travel to places like that or like the waterfalls, are you cut off all your social media? You just focused, or what? What do you do?
It kind of depends. I don't typically like fully detach. And it's kind of hard because especially when you're in another part of the world, like you kind of need, the phone. I have largely social media detached in the last few years. So I don't spend nearly as much time in that space like as I used to. But one thing I did do was I got a physical camera so that I had less reasons to reach in my pocket.
That's good.
And take shots. But I'm gonna send you some of these waterfall pictures when I get done. And like you'll see, it's helpful just to have like the real joy and when to learn how to take pictures and how to change my settings and all that stuff. Cause I like solo travel too. Cause I like just knowing I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. I ain't got to worry about anybody else's situation. And so cool. Yeah. I'm just gonna pop up this morning. This is what we're gonna do today.
Yeah. No itinerary. I'm just going with it.
Yeah, man, or do a tour, get home, read a book when I get a little time. Like I knocked out 2 or 3 books on the last little run,
Okay.
I don't think hiking is something where you get somewhere and you realize somebody ain't into hiking.
Oh no.
Yo, did you see this story in the New York Times the other day? They call it Alpine Divorce. And it's a story about these men. It's the worst shit I've ever heard of. That go hiking with these women in the Alps. And the women will be like, I'm tired or, hey, I'm hurt. And these dudes just keep on walking.
They leave them.
And leave them.
Huh?
I ain't see that.
Yes, be like, yo, I'll meet you there. They do it with their wives. They do it like with their main girls, just leaving them. Enough of a phenomenon that there's a story in the New York Times about it. That snow hiking in the Alps, and you just leave your girl there.
That wouldn't fly.
That was my thought. Like, so what are you going to do when she gets there?
That shit sounds intentional. That sounds like you convince somebody to do something that you know they didn't want to do, and then make it twice as long as you told them it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then well, look, we can't stop now. We're too far at this point.
Yeah, we too
well,
far
I just
right
need
now.
to rest. Well,
one cat,
I got to keep my time.
And that's what their argument was, is that I got to keep my time. But let me tell you, one woman died out there, and speaking of time, Buddy
He's
got
doing
it.
some time.
Buddy got some time.
I'm telling you, that shit's intentional. That shit was in just as Buddy that went to Africa with old girl. Like, I think I just need. Let me tell you. I'm gonna tell y'all a story. Me and Queenie, it was like our first vacation. It was supposed to be our first honeymoon because we never really took a honeymoon. So we go to Turks and Caicos. And we go on, we're like, let's go ride the horses. Like they say you can ride horses on the beach or whatever. And so I'm like, yeah, let's go do it. So we get to the horse guy. The horse guy's like, well, I got two horses. I got one that's old that doesn't like to do too much. Then I got one that's a little younger. He might go a little fast or whatever. My wife intentionally says, give me on the young horse. I'm like, I don't know if this is going to be cool. We get by the water and we're supposed to be walking with the horses on the sand, on the beach, which is, in theory, incredibly romantic. Right?
In theory.
Her horse decides to go further and further and further and further into the ocean. And so the instructor is telling her, you got to stop him. You got to, pull back on him. Like, that's the whole thing. He's going to want to go fast. Just pull back on him lightly. Well, she can't swim. It's like literally one of the things she fears most in life. She pulls on it too hard and the horse goes up in the air. I say, if her and this horse falls, her family is going to swear I killed her, because I'm not going to be able to make them believe, one, she got on a horse, two, she rode the horse into the ocean on her own, right? And then died with the horse or some bad, terrible accident. I'm like, they're going to kill me. They're going to swear I killed their sister. If something happens in that moment, there's no way that family would not believe that she was. So you telling me my sister got on a horse and then rode the horse into the ocean, and she's scared of both? Boy, you got me messed up out here.
Anything that starts with the sentence, so you telling me.
You telling me.
And ends with Willie Foo-Foo.
Yes.
Wow.
No, man, but you're right. Like, the idea, I guess I'm always in my head, I'm always thinking at some point we got to link back up, right? Like, at some point she gonna be there. It's like those stories in the old days where cats would talk about coming home at night after being out all night. And I'd be like, yo, well, what was your story? And I was like, oh, there was no story. You would just go walk back in the door. My bad. Didn't know that was on the card. Apparently, that's
it's not an option here. I can tell you that.
Not an option here either.
That was never. There's no audibles here.
Right.
There's no calling an audible here.
Shit, man.
Oh my
Well,
God.
man, we got traveler, podcaster, and Emmy Award winner, Bomani Jones. Thank you, man. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Man. Dude, I enjoyed this greatly, man. I really appreciate you guys having on. And next time I make it to Houston, man, we got to catch up. I hate it. It's hard for me to get to Houston when it's not too hot to go to Houston. You know what I mean?
Well, when technically it's always too hot to go to Houston.
That is correct. But I always have my time to travel, like in August, and I'm like, ugh.
Dude, Houston in August is brutal.
Houston in August?
Oh my God.
Houston in August is a thing, man. It's so wild. It took so many years of my life before anything else ever felt hot to me. Because I was
You know what? He's got a point. He got a point. Because what it's the reverse with cold, right? Like, the idea of what we think is cold is like summer weather.
Yes.
Right? To like the Midwest and deep north, right? Whereas when summer comes around, what y'all think is hot is like fall to us.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like that, like this is hot for you? Bro, this is barely a one shower a day hot.
It took me forever. I got used to this cold here. It took me a long time, but I got myself to the place where it's like, okay, I learned how to like get my gear right. And once you realize you're just not going to be warm, right? Like, your goal is to not be deathly cold. Yeah. It just might be a little chilly. Yeah. And you learn how to deal with a little chilly. Not so bad.
That's my problem, right? Like, I tell people all the time, you can put on enough clothes in the winter to get to some level of warmth. You can get butt-ass naked in Houston in August, and you still hot.
Yes.
And you still
burn.
sticky. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to be hot.
Bo, I was Buns with UGK's A&R person. So the last album after Chad passed, we did UGK for Life, and I spent a good chunk of that summer in Houston. We pulling everything together. Man, it was so hot. I was like, oh my God, how do y'all do this every year? This is crazy. This is crazy.
You got to plan your day out. You got to plan your day out, and you got to stay outside all day. It don't make no sense to go back in when you got to come back out. Just try to stay out. You know what I'm saying? I would just, every now and then, you just park somewhere and just kind of sit and relax, see if you can catch some shade.
And remember, it could be New Orleans.
Yeah.
Like, Houston is hotter, but New Orleans is way more miserable.
Way more swampy. I've been to New Orleans for Essence, and it's like walking through a shower.
Look, my line about New Orleans in every way is there's two ways to look at it. It would be awful if it wasn't so awesome, or it would be awesome if it wasn't so awful. It just all depends on your outlook on the world.
That's real. That's real.
There's two kinds of people from New Orleans. People from New Orleans who can't wait to get back, and people from New Orleans who never go back. There's no in between.
They gone. They gone. Yeah, that's real. That's real. That's real. Thanks, bro. This was dope, man.
Thank you.
Great to finally meet you, bro. Great to finally meet you, man.
I appreciate you guys having me on, man. Thank you.
Until next time, you got to leave us a comment or questions on the show at Instagram at Unglossy Pod or YouTube at Merrick Studios. Check out Merrick Studios Plus for early access to these shows and live recordings, and spread the word, listeners. I'm Tom Frank.
I'm Jeffrey Sledge.
And I'm Bun B.
Unglossy is produced and distributed by Merrick Studios.